Well, what's going on, Gideonstactical family, and welcome back to another blade video here at the channel. And today's going to be a little bit different because we're going to take a look at 3 extra large size folders from Cold Steel and put them all head to head as we take a look at the Cold Steel Rajah II, the Espada, as well as the extra large Voyager. And one of these 3 I'm just not super impressed with and probably wouldn't buy again. All right, look at all the power in front of us here. Now I'm gonna run in the similarities real quick, and then we're gonna break down all the differences because there's a lot of differences. Now, the first one is the triad locking mechanism. They're all gonna have the triad locking mechanism. It's a lockback design that's trusted, it's true, it's simple, and it's super strong and super reliable. I've chopped with all 3 of these, I've batoned with all 3 of these, and it is just super, super strong. So I love the triad locking mechanism, and for a lockback design, I would argue it's the best on the market, in my opinion. Now, against that is also that they are completely ambidextrous. All 3 of these tools are going to be ambidextrous. Then finally, all 3 blades are made in Taiwan out of AUS 10A steel. That's a great, I would say mid-grade, low to mid-grade steel at this point in time. You're gonna get about a 20% upgrade over General AUS 8. Edge retention is going to be better. And so it's definitely in that stainless steel family of like VG10 and 154 CM, and very at home and compatible with a lot of those type of steels. But I want to give a shout out to Popoff Leather for sponsoring this video. If you are into leather working and leather products, you guys got to check out Popoff Leather. They were started in British Columbia back in 2013 by the founder, Ryan Popoff, who just wanted to create a simple but very high quality leather wallet, and has now created a company that is producing awesome leather work from British Columbia, not only in different styles of leather wallets, but also pouches for your EDC pocket knives and field note pads, but also awesome accessories for your 4-legged friends. And in our case, we got an amazing collar for our dog Tommy, as well as a leather lead. And that collar not only had his initials embossed on there, but it just works really well. Gives him a sense of class that he's never really had before, because we've always thrown cruddy nylon ones on him. And in conjunction with that nice leather lead, just really gives a sense of not only quality, but also dignity to our pet that we just never really had before. And Tommy, now I can just kind of tell, feels a little bit more mature as he gets a little older because he's rocking that leather collar and lead. And they also have DIY kits, which is pretty cool. So if you want to maybe start learning how to work with leather, they have kits that you can buy with all the parts that you need. And as an added bonus, we have a 20% off promo code Gideon. And so I encourage you to go check out that hyperlink below and type in that promo code so you can get 20% off your purchase. See all the different leather work that they have going on over there at Popoff Leather. So the Rajah II, previously reviewed here, kukri recurve design, very iconic, 6 inches. It's going to be the biggest one with a 6-inch blade and going to be the thickest at 0.19. The other 2 are going to be 5.5 inches and are going to be coming in at 0.15. So they're all very thick, very large blades, but you're going to be getting an extra 1/2 inch of reach on the Rajah II. Full flat grind, and just really good for like an outdoor folder. So heavy duty work is really where it's going to be super proficient with hacking, slashing, chopping, delimbing, you know, those type of activities, just because it's the longest reach, it's got the biggest, broadest blade. So if you're looking for more of an outdoor, I would argue, a folder, or you just need a folder with maximum reach, that's really where this is going to shine and has been the most capable for me. Next up, we have the Voyager. This one has just a crazy recurve, and the Voyager is going to give you the most options in blade shapes. The Rajah only comes with this design. The Voyager you can get in a saber ground drop point, you can get it in a full flat grind with a clip, you can get it in a tanto, you can get it fully serrated, and you can get it with this crazy, I forget the name of it, with the recurve. So there's a lot of variety in blade shapes. So if you like a lot of blade shape options, you can get a whole collection going of Voyagers with different capabilities. This one was just so wild, I had to try it, see what it would do. With that full flat grind, got a little bit of a swedge, and again, being thinner than the Rajah II, and having the most precise tip. I mean, the tip is razor thin, so it's going to pierce and really be an excellent food prep tool. And that's what I found out of all three, if you were gonna say which one's probably the best for food prep, just because of the thinner stock, the full flat grind on this particular design, and then the very thin blade at the tip, it's going to be an epic food prep slicing type of tool. It's not going to be the most fragile out of all three because it has the thinnest stock compared to the Rajah, a full flat grind in this particular version, and that very thin tip. So I would not be stabbing and prying with this. It has the most potential to probably get damage to that tip. But if you're looking for more of a precision tool and maximum variety of blade shapes, the Voyager will have all of those things going for it. And then finally down here, we got the Espada, and that is going to, again, have a 5.5 inch blade. This is gonna have a high saber grind with an amazing huge swedge trailing point. It's based off of a Spanish blade design. I like how it's kind of narrow here and actually broadens itself out in both directions. I mean, it is one cool looking blade. Very big swedge, good tip, stronger than the full flat on the Voyager, and about the same as on the Rajah. So this one, I would argue, is going to kind of be the jack of all trades, really good at a lot of stuff, not mind-blowing at any one thing, like some of these other ones are really good at certain aspects. This one's still going to, like slice and chop really well if you're doing like delimbing of greenery and smaller things. Really good at food prep, not as good as say the Voyager, but on par, I would argue, because of the thinner stock with the Rajah. So it's still a lot of fun to do larger food prep tasks, no problem. But with that swedge and that clip point, I mean, it's great for stabbing, piercing, slicing, and then just overall general utility. The Espada blade has a ton of functionality, and just being a really high performer like a lot of Bowie style blades are. So these are going to have 3 distinct grips. You can choke up and basically use like a choil all 3 of these. The Rajah II having scallops up front, being the most comfortable, I would argue, most in control of the blade and most designed that way for that choke up kind of feature. Then the Voyager, very easy to do that as well, with just that basically large ricasso and blank part on the handle. And then same with the Espada as well. All 3 you can choke up and really control the blade well if necessary. Then you have your general grip point that's going to allow you to do your general task, that's going to grip you the best. They each have amazing cut-ins, so these are not going to accidentally slide up and hurt yourself if you are using them in a lot of aggressive stabbing, slashing, piercing. In this format, you are locked into place with all 3 blades. And then all 3 have a backup grip for either giving you extended reach if necessary in those type of rolls, or for light hacking. Now, none of these I would say is good for hard deadwood chopping, but thin greenery, these are epic. All 3 of them, just in different ways. Kukri, Rajah style being the best of all 3 for that, but all 3 can easily delimb stuff about as thick as your thumb on down, no problem. Slight hacking, shaping of wood into stakes and tent pegs and those type of things. They're all going to be able to do that with that backup 3rd grip. Now, the Rajah II and the Voyagers are going to be made with a Gryvex, I think is what they call it, polymer, and then they're going to have 6061 heat-treated aluminum liners. So they're going to be rigid and still kind of dense, and they're going to be more rounded, a little bit fuller, a little bit more contoured overall, versus the Espada, which is going to have G10 without any liners. It's very thick G10. I've never had an issue with any of my other cold steels that don't have any liners. Very rigid, very robust. It is going to be the slimmest of all 3, and therefore I would argue the most carryable for EDC. It's slimmer. It actually can be carried in even my gym shorts, and I do that on a semi-frequent basis when I'm walking around the campground, taking a walk, just doing stuff, even running into town. If you were to ask me, hey, I'm actually going to carry this regularly in my pocket and I'm not just working in the outdoors, which one is the most carryable? The Espada. So we do need to look at pocket clips here just briefly. You can see that the Rajah II Massive, huge, and like 2 inches of ride up above. Some of that is just to grab it easier. Some of it is just the sheer girth and size of the handle itself. So I would say that obviously this one being the most obnoxious in the middle, the Espada, the easiest to carry to actually EDC against that G10 and just the way it rides. And then the Voyager is going to be the highest tension, meaning it takes a lot to pull it out. You're going to possibly have to take the pocket clip off and actually like sand down these diamond textures, because otherwise not only will it thrash your pocket, but it's really grippy and it's kind of hard to pull out of your pocket. Now, even though all 3 are ambidextrous and the thumb stud is perfectly equal on either side for the Voyager is the only one with an actual thumb stud. Then you have on the other 2 deployment plates, very similar to an Emerson Wave, where you can hook these onto your pocket or waistband and actually pull it out and deploy it as you pull it out of your pocket. You can also engage it just with your finger and whip it open like that and then close it. You can remove them, just unscrew them. So possibly, you know, if you need technically legal 2-handed opening, you could do that. These are definitely heavy enough. You could swing that open without even touching. I just did that without touching the blade at all, just with weight. Now, another great aspect and why these are fun to have and collect is the high value that these are. I mean, I don't know how Cold Steel can produce these for the prices that these can often be found at. Now, I will have a bunch of links for you guys below to the distributors that we regularly partner with. So if one of these models does connect with you, you can check out all those hyperlinks in the description box below. And I appreciate it when you guys do that. It really means a lot. Now, on average, these are going to go for around $110. The Espada, maybe $130, $40 depending on where you pick it up, just because of the G10 and some of the extra little kind of aspects to it that are different from the other 2. Now, you can hunt around, and Amazon will often have the Ermak Rajah or a version of the Voyager for around $80. I picked up the Voyager for $76. So it just depends on the versions, the model, which distributor has them in stock, and you know what's available. But let's just say even at $100 to $120, depending on the model, is insane. All right, so as I promised, there is one of these 3 that I just wouldn't buy again. Now, the Ermak Rajah was sent to me from Cold Steel when I did the original video. I liked it so much, and it was just such a huge blade that I was just like, I got to see these other large knives. So I went out and purchased both the Espada and the Voyager. So of all 3, for me, this variant of the Voyager just doesn't really make a lot of sense for me compared to the other 2. Now, I love the more compact 4-inch version of the Voyager. It's an excellent high value, hard use tool that you can sometimes get for like between 50 and 60 bucks. I mean, it's excellent. This guy, the tip, the few things is this: the tip is just so thin, and it's thin for such a long period of time. I mean, it's like 2 inches for sure of like hair thin. And with just how broad that full flat grind is, I'm just concerned I'm going to snap and break that. And I don't feel like it could reach out and touch someone in that capacity. I don't feel confident, you know, taking out and doing hard work in the woods with it. So for food prep, sure, and maybe like breaking down 1,000 cardboard boxes, but outside of that, I just don't, how thin it is for how long, I just have a hard time with, in conjunction with the abrasive handle. Now, these 2 aren't abrasive, and if you're using this tool, you're probably doing super hard, you know, like you are gonna be doing some swing in and maybe delimbing of small branches and stuff, or you are gonna be doing like harder things with it, and just the abrasiveness with how big it is, just it doesn't connect with me, and it's kind of painful. Now, maybe the Tanto or the drop point version, particularly of the Voyager, might make a little bit more sense if the tip is a little bit more reinforced, which I would assume, particularly on the Tanto, I'm sure it is. You know, so that might be something to look at. But I just prefer these 2, and the Voyager just doesn't get used that much since I've had all 3. But let me know what you guys think. You know, and I know that there's a lot of you that love the extra large Voyagers. Leave comments below. I look forward to hearing what you guys like of all 3. So there you have it, guys. I hope that this video has been fun and entertaining. Regardless, if you're just looking to get another extra large blade from Cold Steel, or you're wanting to jump into and start collecting these very large folders, I hope that this breakdown has helped you out a little bit so that you know what you're getting depending on the design that you decide to go with. I invite you guys to leave any comments that you may have in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them for you. I invite you to check out the other video popping up. Again, subscribe if you're not yet a subscriber, and until next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.